ומקום משכן כבודך, ואני אשתחווה ואכרעה אברכה לפני אדוני עושי, ואני תפילתי לך אדוני עת רצון. אלוהים ברוב חסדך, ענני באמת אישך. Please be seated. Some people are making their first visit to the community this morning, and we welcome Ruth and Maggie to the synagogue, and Sim is making his second visit, so the first visit went well enough. Yeah, to come back.
Got the second one.
Yes.
That was your second visit.
As we say the prayers of our ancestors, help us, O God, to remember their faith and devotion, their joy and suffering, and make us worthy of our heritage. May the tradition we have received live in us and pass from us to generations we shall never know, enriched by the truth we have found and the good we have done. So may we fulfill our task on earth and receive our blessing. Let's read together in English.
Eternal God, school us in your teachings, and make us loyal to your commandments. May we never consent to evil, or surrender to temptation or self-contempt. Help us to rise above selfishness, and make us responsive to the voice of conscience. Direct our every impulse to your service. Today and every day may we merit kindness and compassion in your sight, and in the sight of all who behold us, and let us know your love. We praise you, O God, for the love you daily show us.
בצדקתך ירננו.
חמוד רחום אדוני, כפיים מוגדל חסד.
טוב אדוני לכל, ורחמיו על כל מעשיו.
אדוני כל מעשיך, עשיתך יברכוך.
כבוד מלכותך יאמרו, ובגבורתך ידברו.
עוד לבני אדם וכבודך, וכבודך אתה מלכותו.
מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור.
סומך אדוני לכל הנופלים, זוקף לכל הכפופים.
עיני כל אליך יסברו, ואתה נותן להם את אוכלם בעיתו.
פותח את ידיך, ומשפיע לו כל חיל אסון.
צדיק אדוני בכל דרכיו, וחסיד בכל מעשיו.
אדוני לכל תורה, לכל אשר יקראו בעיני.
וצאן יראיו יעשה, ואת שבתם ישמע ויושיעם.
תפילת אדוני ידבק לי, יראה את כל בשר,
ושלום לארץ, ואנחנו נברך יה, מעתה ועד עולם. הללויה. Please rise. ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו, האל המלך הגדול והקדוש, בשמיים ובארץ. כי לך נאה אדוני אלוהינו, ואלוהי אבותינו, שיהיה ושלחה, הלל וזמרה, ברכה והוראות, מעתה ועד עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני, אבותינו בשירי זמרה. On page 135, 135. Please be seated. Let's read together, firstly in Hebrew and then in English. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzei or uborei choshech, osei shalom uborei et hakol, hameir la'aretz v'lagalim alecha berachamim, uvtuho mekadesh bechol yom tamid ma'aseh bereshit. מה רבו מעשיך אדוני, כולם בחוכמה עשית, מלאה הארץ קנייניך. תתברך אדוני אלוהינו, על שבח מעשה ידיך, ועל מאורי אור שעשית, יברכך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, יוצר המאורות. Great is your love for us, eternal God, and abundant your compassion. Our ancestors trusted in you, and you taught them the laws of life. So be gracious to us and teach us. Incline our hearts to hear your words, to know and understand, to learn and teach, and with love to uphold the truths of your Torah. Enlighten us with your teaching. Make us faithful
to your commandments,
and wholehearted in the love and awe of your name. For in love you summon us to serve you and proclaim your unity.
we praise you, O God. In love you have called your people Israel to serve you.
Let's stand together as a community for the Shema. Good and beautiful and true, sound, established and enduring are these words, now and forever. True it is, Eternal One, that you are our sovereign God and Redeemer, as you were the God and Redeemer of our ancestors. You are our Maker, the rock of our salvation. We have known you always as our helper and our liberator. There is no God but you. Truly you are first and you are last. We have no Redeemer but you. You redeemed us from Egypt and freed us from the house of bondage. Then with great joy, Moses, Miriam, and all Israel together sang to you this song. שיבחו גאולים, לשמך על שפת הים, יחד כולם הודו והמליכו, ואמרו.
Oh
Eternal God, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, Hanurah, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Vekoneh Hakol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot ve'imahot, U'mevii Geula livnei bneihem, למען שמו והפר, מלך עוזר ומשיח ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה, אתה תיפול לעולם אדוני, מחיה מקימתך רב ומושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מזריח השמש ומוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים וחסד, מחיה מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומתניח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה המתים.
We sanctify your name on earth, as in the prophet's vision, the hosts of heaven sing your praise above. For so it is written.
Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzevaot, Melech haaretz kadosh.
God's glory fills the universe. Concealment, majestic one, reveal yourself and rule over us, for you are our hope. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. שבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם ועד.
ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. You inspired our ancestors to hallow this day for your service. When upon its coming we pause to contemplate our life, we learn anew that we do not live by bread alone, but also by the spiritual nourishment we receive when we open ourselves to your influence. We thank you for the Sabbath day and for the opportunity it offers to enhance the quality of our lives. We thank you for its joy and for its peace. May our worship help us to take into our hearts its message of holiness and consecrate all our days by devotion to what is true, beautiful and good.
God and God of our ancestors, may our rest on this day pleasing in your sight. Sanctify us by your commandments, and make us loyal to your teaching. Satisfy us with your goodness, gladden us with your salvation, and purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, eternal one, let the holiness of your Sabbath enter our hearts, and may all Israel who hallow your name be exalted by its peace. We praise you, O God, for the holiness of the Sabbath.
Continue in Hebrew. ויצא אדוני אלוהינו בעמך ישראל, תפילתם באהבה תקבל, ותהי לרצון תמיד עבודת ישראל עמך.
ברוך אתה אדוני, שורתך ועדך בימה נעבור.
מודים אנחנו לך,
שעתך הוא אדוני אלוהינו, ואלוהי אבותינו לעולם ועד. צור חיינו, מגן נשכנו, אתה הוא לדור ודור. נודה לך ונצפה תהילתך, על חיינו המצויים בידיך, ועל נשמותינו הפקודות לך, ועל עיסך שבכל יום עמנו, ועל נפלותיך וטובותיך, שבכל עת ערב הבוקר וצהריים. ברוך אתה אדוני, עטור שמך ולך נאה להודות.
Sim shalom tova uvracha. Sim shalom tova uvracha. Sim shalom tova uvracha. Sim shalom tova uvracha. 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 Sim shalom tova uvracha. Sim shalom tova uvracha. That's a South London special refrain. Let's read from the beginning in Hebrew together. Sim shalom tova uvracha.
חן וחסד ורחמים, עלינו ועל כל ישראל עמך. ברכנו אבינו, כולנו כאחד באור פניך. כי באור פניך נתת לנו, אדוני אלוהינו, תורת חיים ואהבת חסד, וצדקה וברכה ורחמים וחיים ושלום. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל, וכל העמים, בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני, עושה השלום.
Let's take a few minutes for ourselves, a few moments. Let's turn to page 607 for a prayer for healing. And sorry, I tend to do our session on after that. So 607. 607. 607. Yeah. We're doing quite well, really. 607. Now, I'm going to look around the sanctuary, and if there's someone that you're thinking of in particular at this time who's not well, and who you think would benefit from prayer, might even be yourself, feel free to say the name out loud or to yourselves.
Vivian Lacroix and Lila Ward.
Reggie Simons.
Jacqueline Menard.
Any other names? I mentioned Linda, who has a nasty chest infection, which is why she's not here today. Any other names?
I'd like to mention our mum, Mabel, who's doing well considering, but still struggling with her memory and physical difficulties.
Amazing.
But lifted by the visit from you.
Sure. Eternal God, we thank you for the gift of life and for the healing powers that you have implanted within your creatures. Sustain, we pray, our loved ones through this time of illness. Grant them courage and strength to endure pain and weakness. Teach us how best to help them by our love and care for them, and by our own composure. May they and all who are ill know that you are with them, comforting them and reinforcing their will to get well. May their afflictions soon be ended, and may they return in health to family and friends. So let's say the blessing in English, and then the seal of the blessing in Hebrew, and then in English at the bottom. May it be your will, eternal one, our God and God of our ancestors, speedily to grant a perfect healing of body and mind to all who are sick. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei HaCholim. We praise you, O God, the source of healing. And then if we need to go back to 146, we'll sing Stay Shalom. Where has tolerance gone? Where has tolerance gone? From the box. That's why it's not up there. But the special theme this week is tolerance. And couldn't find it. Couldn't find it anywhere.
I was very intolerant to that, I tell you.
We think that Christine may have snapped it across her knee in a fit of we're going to do the special theme today, because sometimes it's good to do the special theme. And also because I'm going to give a sermon later, which I meant to be longer, but I found that I said what I had to say within fewer words. I'm rather concise, maybe a little too concise. My sermon and this special theme speak to each other, I think. So we'll do the special theme here, and I'm going to ask for volunteers to read, and we'll do it in a more relaxed way. And then when it comes to the sermon, I will give a short sermon, and then if there's time and people feel that way inclined, we might have a short discussion, but not a very long one, about some of the themes in both. So we're on page 313, 313. And I think because we'll read it together, we won't worry about the italics. We'll simply have individual readers reading the passages as we go on their own. So, we'd like to, let's have a few people to start us off. We'd like to read Stephen and catch my eye at the wrong time and we'll be reading. And then Lindsay, and then Maureen, and then Hannah will come in. All right.
Let the Eternal One, the God of the spirits of all flesh, appoint someone over the congregation who shall go out before them and come in before them, who shall lead them out and bring them in.
Why does it say the God of the spirits of all flesh? Because Moses wished to say to God, Sovereign of the universe, you know the mind of every single individual and how they are all different from one another. Therefore, appoint over them a leader who will be tolerant of each and every one, according to their state of mind.
When Moses saw how important Phineas had become, he feared that he might be chosen as the next leader, and it did not seem good to him that Israel should have such a zealot for a leader. Therefore Moses begged of God that Israel's leader should be one who would be patient with every individual, that is to say, a tolerant leader, not a zealot.
Elijah, like Pinchas, was a zealot, but at Mount Horeb he learned that God was not in the howling wind, nor in the earthquake, nor in the raging fire, but in the still, small voice.
For by this means God sought to make him understand that godliness is not transmitted by the flames of zealotry, nor does the spirit of religion enter the human heart through the fulminations of the fanatic, but only through the still, small voice of gentle, kind, and pleasant speech, only through words of sweet reason and good sense.
An aged man, whom Abraham hospitably invited to his tent, refused to join him in prayer to the universal God. Learning that he was a fire worshipper, Abraham drove him from his door. That night, God appeared to Abraham in a vision and said, I have borne with that ignorant man for 70 years. Could you not have patiently suffered him one night?
In every hour God provides sustenance for all the world's inhabitants according to their need, and satisfies every living thing, not only the respectable and righteous, but also the wicked and the idolaters. I call heaven and earth to witness whether a person be Gentile or Jewish, man or woman, male or female, servant, solely according to their conduct does the Holy Spirit rest upon them.
Nothing spoils human nature more than fool's zeal. Our fallibility and the shortness of our knowledge should make us peaceable and gentle. Because I may be mistaken, I must not be dogmatical and confident, peremptory and imperious. I will not break the certain laws of charity for a doubtful doctrine or an uncertain truth.
Okay, should we have a few more readers? Anyone else like to read?
Oh, okay.
Kevin and then Sim and John, do you want to read? So you come after Sim. So Kevin and Sim and then John.
Heaven is no totalitarian state. The great ones of the world have recognised the diversity of human beings and striven to bring out the best in each. The first thing to learn in intercourse with others is non-interference with their own peculiar ways of being happy, provided that those ways do not assume to interfere by violence with ours. No one has insight into all the ideals. No one should presume to judge them offhand. The pretension to dogmatise about them in each other is the root of most human injustices, and the trait in human character most likely to make the angels weep.
Joseph went after his brothers and found them in Dothan. They saw him at a distance, and before he came near to them, they conspired to kill him. They could not bear to hear his dreams again, or tolerate a vision of their falling stars. They saw him from afar, beyond the sound of words, which might have bridged the dark abyss. There was no dialogue, the pit was dead.
Thank you.
So companies of children march toward 8 other flags, worship themselves in 20 narrow ways. Alongside them, thousands rails stretch out, 1,000 different visions fill it with hope. 1,000 galaxies caught in a web of God. And God will speak to us out of every wandering star. If we could but break through the wall, if we could hear the others, why, then we might hear God. He drew a circle that shut me out, heretic, a rebel, sink to flood. But love and I had to win. We drew a circle that stood in him.
Thank you. And instead of reading the text, we can see it in front of us. We'll go back to the song that we began the service with in the booklet. If you read through the booklet again on page 2A, to the very bottom of 2A, and we'll sing it again 3 or 4 times. We're doing something in the fashion of the Mosaic movement, which had these ethical precepts which they would repeat over and over again in the hope that they would be inculcated by doing so. Let's turn to page 481 and prepare for the Torah service. So page 481. Hear, O Israel, the Eternal One is our God, the Eternal God is one. Elul Adonai iti meroma ma shemo yachdav.
Amen.
always amazed at how big the scroll is, and I don't have to do Hakbah anymore. We are in the book of Numbers, of course, coming towards the, well, where are we? Just over the middle? But there's a little bit to go in the book of Numbers, and we had Parashat Balak last week, and the Orthodox synagogue. I had the pleasure of visiting my Orthodox colleague over the road the other day in Stratton. It's Balak today, but we are, of course, a little ahead because we didn't keep second day Shavuot, I think that's what it's to do with. So we are in Pinchas. And one of the interesting things about Pinchas is quite a disturbing thing. So let's start with that rather than interesting. But what Pinchas does, Phineas, in his righteous zealotry, which is to kill two people, one a Jewish man and the other a non-Jewish woman, but very well-to-do people, shall we say, when he kills them, having found them together in the midst of the Israelite camp, that isn't in Parashat Pinchas. That's at the end of Parashat Balak. So it's a funny one. So what we have here, and I'm going to read the traditional first Aliyah. I think there's something like 14 verses in the traditional first Aliyah. Right at the very beginning of Pinchas is what happens afterwards. As I say, the episode itself has already happened. And then the Liberal Lectionary has us do a few more verses, which begins another story to do with counting. So it's quite an interesting 14 or so verses we're going to read, and I'm going to let it speak for itself. I think, of course, we look at what Pinchas did, and we are shocked, disgusted, horrified, and we hear of God giving Pinchas his covenant of peace instead. So there are real problems for us here, which I'm sure we've talked about many times before with Frank. So it's Numbers chapter 25, verse 10 onwards. So Numbers chapter 25, verse 10 onwards. And there are some Kumashim coming over, I think.
Does anyone need any?
My congregation needs to be told the page number, but I keep saying, do you really need to be told the page number? We don't have the page number here, because it's Numbers 25, chapter 10, so it should be alright, I think. If you do have this on Tino, it's on page 932. Make it a little bit easier, 932, it's not always easier.
And the Tanakh?
If you have the Tanakh, and you'd like to tell me what page it starts on, I'd be happy to hear it.
Yes.
So,
252.
252 in the JPS Tanakh.
It's not featuring the
Let's see. Ya'amod, Sim, Noach, Lefiat HaTorah.
Praise the one to whom our praise is due.
Praise be the eternal one to whom our praise is due forever.
Praise be the eternal one to whom our praise is due forever. We praise you, eternal one, our God, sovereign of the universe. You have called us to serve you by guiding us Torah.
Praise God,
We praise you, O God, giver of Torah.
Amen.
And the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, hath turned my wrath away from the children of Israel, in that he was very jealous for my sake among them, so that I consumed not the children of Israel in my jealousy. Wherefore say, Behold, I give unto him my covenant of peace. And it shall be unto him, and to his seed after him, the covenant of an everlasting priesthood, because he was jealous for his God, and made atonement for the children of Israel. Now the name of the man of Israel that was slain, who was slain with the Midianitish woman, was Zimri, the son of Salu, a prince of a father's house among the Simeonites. And the name of the Midianitish woman that was slain with Cosbi, the daughter of Zur, he was the head of the people of a father's house in Midian. And the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, Harass the Midianites, and smite them, for they harass you by their wiles wherewith they have beguiled you in the matter of Peor, and in the matter of Cosbi, the daughter of the prince of Midian, their sister, who was slain on the day of the plague in the matter of Peor. And it came to pass after the plague, that the Lord spoke unto Moses and unto Eleazar the son of Aaron the priest, saying, Take the sum of all the congregation of the children of Israel, from 20 years old and upward, by their fathers' houses, all that are able to go forth to war in Israel. And Moses and Eleazar the priest spoke with them in the plains of Moab, by the Jordan at Jericho, saying, Take the sum of the people from 20 years old and upward, as the Lord commanded Moses and the children of Israel, that came forth out of the land of Egypt. וידבר אדוני אל משה לאמור, פנחס בן אלעזר בן אהרון הכהן השיב את חמתי מעל בני ישראל בקנאו את קנאתי בתוכם. ולא כליתי את בני ישראל בקנאתי. לכן אמור הנני נותן לו את בריתי שלום. והייתה לו ולזרעו אחריו ברית כהונת עולם, תחת אשר קינא לאלוהיו. ויכפר על בני ישראל, בשם איש ישראל המוכר, אשר הוכה את המדיינית, זמרי בן סלו, נשיא בית אב לשמעוני. בשם האישה המוכה המדיינית, קוסבי, בת צור, ראש ומות בית אב במדיין הוא. וידבר אדוני אל משה לאמור, צרור את המדיינים והכיתם אותם, כי צרורים הם לכם בנכליהם, אשר נכלו לכם על דבר פרעה ועל דבר קוסבי, בת נשיא מדיין אחותם, המוכה ביום המגפה על דבר פרעה. ויהי אחרי המגפה. ויאמר אדוני אל משה ואל אלעזר בן אהרון הכהן לאמור, שאו את ראש כל עדת בני ישראל מבין 20 שנה ומעלה לבית אבותם, כל יוצאי צבא בישראל. וידבר משה ואלעזר הכהן אותם בערבות מואב על ירדן יריחו לאמור, מבין 20 שנה ומעלה, כאשר ציווה אדוני את משה ובני ישראל היוצאים מארץ מצרים.
We praise you, eternal one, our God, sovereign of the universe. You have given us true teachings and implanted within its eternal life. We praise you, our God, giver of life.
Please rise. Lindsay is going to read Haftarah for us. We do something in South London which means that all the focus is on Haftarah, so we sing a song while this is happening. Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Haolam, Haolam, Omer. Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Haolam, Haolam, Omer. Al HaTorah ve'al Avodah ve'al Gemilut Chasadim. Al HaTorah ve'al Avodah ve'al Gemilut Chasadim. Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Haolam, Haolam, Omer. Al HaTorah ve'al Avodah ve'al Gemilut Chasadim. Ve'al Avodah ve'al Gemilut Chasadim. Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Haolam, Haolam, Omer. Hine ma tov u'manayim shebet gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shebet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shebet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shebet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shebet achim gam yachad. To everybody.
The Haftarah portion today is from the book of Kings, Kings 1. It's on page 555. It's 1 Kings chapter 18, verse 46 to chapter 19, verse 21. On 555. 555.
951 in the Chumash.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't check the Chumash. My apologies. And JPSA Tanakh 555. Well, if Pinchas was bloodthirsty by skewering the Israelite and the Moabite woman, Elijah was also pretty bloodthirsty. It seems to be pretty much what was going on at the time. So lots of people were killed here. For today, we might not say a very good reason. What is nice is that it's from there's a verse that was on the other reading that we did this morning, and there's a phrase in there, still small voice, which is translated differently in the reading. So if I remember, I am going to go back to the still small voice. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher בחר בנביאים טובים ורצה בדבריהם הנאמנים באמת. ברוך אתה אדוני הבוחר בתורה ובמשה עבדו ובישראל עמו ובנביאי האמת והצדק. The hand of the Lord had come upon Elijah. He tied up his skirts and ran in front of Ahab all the way to Jezreel. When Ahab told Jezebel all that Elijah had done and how he had put all the prophets to the sword, Jezebel sent a messenger to Elijah, saying, "Thus and more may the gods do, if by this time tomorrow I have not made you like one of them." Frightened, he fled at once for his life. He came to Beersheba, which is in Judah, and left his servant there. He himself went a day's journey into the wilderness. He came to a broom bush and sat down under it and prayed that he might die. "Enough," he cried. "Now, O Lord, take my life, for I am no better than my fathers." He lay down and fell asleep under a broom bush. Suddenly, an angel touched him and said to him, "Arise and eat." He looked about, and there, beside his head, was a cake baked on hot stones and a jar of water. He ate and drank and lay down again. The angel of the Lord came a second time and touched him and said, "Arise and eat, or the journey will be too much for you." He arose and ate and drank, and with the strength from that meal he walked 40 days and 40 nights as far as the mountain of God at Horeb. There he went into a cave, and there he spent the night. Then the word of the Lord came to him. He said to him, "Why are you here, Elijah?" He replied, "I am moved by zeal for the Lord, the God of hosts, and for the Israelites have forsaken your covenant, torn down your altars, and put your prophets to the sword. I alone am left, and they are out to take my life. Come out," he called, "and stand on the mountain before the Lord." And lo, the Lord passed by. There was a great and mighty wind, splitting mountains and shattering rocks by the power of the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. After the wind, an earthquake. But the Lord was not in the earthquake. After the earthquake, fire. But the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire, a still, small, whatever voice. A soft murmuring sound. That was their translation. "Why are you here, Elijah?" No, sorry, I missed the line. When Elijah heard it, he wrapped his mantle about his face and went out and stood in the entrance of the cave. Then a voice addressed him. "Why are you here, Elijah?" He answered, "I am moved by zeal for the Lord, the God of hosts, for the Israelites have forsaken your covenant, torn down your altars, and have put your prophets to the sword. I alone am left, and they are out to take my life." The Lord said to him, "Go back the way you came, and on to the wilderness of Damascus. When you get there, anoint Hazael of king of Aram. Also, anoint Jehu, son of Nimshi, as king of Israel, and anoint Elisha, son of Shaphat of Abel-Meholah, to succeed you as prophet. Whoever escapes the sword of Hazael shall be slain by Jehu, and whoever escapes the sword of Jehu shall be slain by Elisha. I will leave in Israel only 7,000, every knee that has not knelt to Baal, and every mouth that has not kissed him." He set out from there and came upon Elisha, son of Shaphat, as he was ploughing. There were 12 yoke of oxen ahead of him, and he was with the 12th. Elijah came over to him and threw his mantle over him. He left the oxen and ran after Elijah, saying, "Let me kiss my father and mother goodbye, and I will follow you." And he answered him, "Go back, what have I done to you?" He turned back from him and took the yoke of oxen and slaughtered them. He boiled their meat with the gear of the oxen and gave it to the people, and they ate. Then he arose and followed Elijah and became his attendant. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, צור כל העולמים, צדיק בכל הדורות, האל הנאמן האומר ועושה, המדבר ומקיים שכל דבריו אמת וצדק. על התורה ועל העבודה, ועל הנביאים ועל יום השבת הזה, שנתת לנו אדוני אלוהינו, לקדושה ולמנוחה, לכבוד ולתפארת. על הכל אדוני אלוהינו אנחנו מודים לך. ומברכים אותך, יתברך שמך בפי כל חי תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
So, O God, whose dominion embraces the universe, we ask your blessing for our Sovereign Lady, Queen Elizabeth, and all the royal family, for those who govern our country and all who influence the quality of its national life. Make them conscious of their responsibility and teach them to exercise it in accordance with your will. May we all help to fashion in this country a society that excels in freedom and justice, tolerance and compassion, so that it may be a force for righteousness and peace in the life of humanity. Amen.
Eternal God, as you blessed our ancestors in generations past, bless now this congregation, its leaders and its members, and all who went to the synagogue to meet, to study and to pray. Comfort the sorrowing hearts among us, and heal those in anxiety or pain. May we all find here community and friendship, renewal of purpose and hope, a deeper understanding of our heritage, and a sense of your abiding presence. Bless all congregations of the House of Israel throughout the world, that those who live under oppressive rule soon be freed, and may we all unite to witness to your truth and do your will. Amen.
Eternal God, our rock and redeemer, grant blessing to the state of Israel, created to fulfill an age-old dream and to be a haven for the oppressed. Inspire its leaders and citizens with faithfulness to the aims of its founders, to develop the land for the benefit of all its inhabitants, and to implement prophetic ideals of liberty and justice. May they live in harmony with one another and in peace with their neighbours, and cause to come true once more the ancient vision, that out of Zion shall go forth Torah, and the word of God from Jerusalem.
יהללו את שם אדוני כי נשגב שמו לבדו. Teaching is perfect. God's word is unfailing. God's precepts are right. God's commandments are clear. God's doctrine is pure. God's guidance is true. Behold, a good doctrine has been given you. Do not forsake it. It is a tree of life to those who hold it fast, and all who cling to it find happiness. Its ways are ways of pleasantness, and all its paths are peace. tree of life for those who hold it fast, but it's not always easy to hold fast. And I don't think I actually helped. I think I made it worse. So we put it back, and one of those key moments, we closed the door on it, and there it will sit.
Do I have to worry about it crashing out?
No, it's there's not going anywhere. It's safe. It's a safer tour. I feel.
It's a safe.
Don't you use that one?
I've never used that one. Not in public.
But it was a gift, wasn't it?
It was a bit of a gift, yeah. I'm in a non-traditional way. I'm reading from my pad today, and it's a good job. It is a short sermon actually, because we are running a little later than we would normally be, because we put the special theme in. I think we don't want to upset anyone. It's good to upset them a little bit though. Sometimes.
Yeah.
They weren't upset last week when they ran 20 minutes over.
Well, we do. I find that we wait quite a bit when I'm here, and I think that probably happens when I'm not too.
But that's the tolerance bit.
It is the tolerance. So if they can stop, yeah. All right. Well. How liberal are we? How liberal are we? The Conference of Liberal Rabbis and Cantors, in planning its annual retreat, or Kala, has raised a fundamental question in recent weeks. Where is liberalism in 2019? Under attack from left and right, according to one colleague. Interestingly, as we pose the question, our counterparts in the Assembly of Rabbis and Cantors ask what Reform Judaism is. A crisis of confidence in the centre ground. It is also an opportunity to reflect and recalibrate. If liberal Judaism has come to define itself by inclusiveness, what are the consequences? The new prayer book draft, for example, in an attempt to be more inclusive in its theology and language, has led some to feel excluded. How can this be mitigated? The only answer is via honest and open debate between conference and communities and within conference and communities. If we want to remain a broad and radical movement, honesty and openness are key. Yet, are we ready to listen to voices which do not accord with our own, and to properly engage with them? This is surely the rich soil in which we all grow. The liberal pew is the least homogeneous one I know. Our neighbour may differ from us in gender, class, ethnicity, sexuality, religious practice, and Jewish background. This is certainly the case at South London Liberal Synagogue, and I think it's the case here too. They may also differ in their worldview on Israel, Palestine, on Jeremy Corbyn and the Labour Party, on Queen and country, on leaving the European Union, and on any number of things we may hold dear. If only we were as good at accepting both sets of differences. Pirkei Avot reminds us not to judge someone until we are in their place, and not to be sure of ourselves until the day we die. Both may be usefully applied to those who think differently, lest we marginalise or patronise a new other and develop a narrow liberalism in pew and pulpit with an orthodoxy all of its own.
Ich
Let's turn to page 519 for the alternative text to Elena, which is a little briefer. On page 519, let's stand for Baruch Adonai Leolam. Baruch Adonai Leolam.
Amen.
Baruch Adonai Elohim Elohei Yisrael Osei Niflaot Levado. Ubaruch Shem Kavodo Leolam. V'yimaleh Kavodo et kol haaretz. The eternal God shall rule over all the earth. On that day the eternal God shall be one and known to be one. May your love, O God, rest upon us as we rest our hope in you. All the nations that you have made shall come and bow down before you and honour your name. Let God be praised by day, let God be praised by night. Let God be praised when we lie down, let God be praised when we rise up. Avinu Shabashamayim Yached Shimcha V'Kayem Malchutecha Tamid. Umloch Aleinu Leolam Va'ed. Adonai Melech, Adonai Malach, Adonai Yimlach, Leolam Va'ed. And there are some very good texts in the new draft Siddur, and one is by a friend of mine, no longer with us, Sheila Schulman. It can be found on page 37A. So each double page spread is a new number, A on one side, B on the other. So 37A. We recognize that each of us is not so much a person as a world, or rather the bearer in her or his self of a world, a unique, irreplaceable, populated world, linked by a myriad threads to other such worlds. And that if, when someone dies who has been part of our life, there is a rent in the universe, like a star vanishing, but that like a star vanishing, that world leaves ineradicable traces in us, as a star does in space, so that we mourn, but we remember, and we know that there will be a living trace of that person in our consciousness, always. And as a community here at Mosaic Little Synagogue, we remember in particular at this time of year Gertrude Levin, mother of Ronald Levin, Renee Rose, the mother of Stuart Rose, Helmut Steinfeld, the uncle of Gideon Fiegel, Ellen Terry, the sister of Gideon Fiegel, Annette Zeidel, the mother of Brigitte Levin, and Isaac and Simone Zeidel, the grandparents of Brigitte Levin. And we wish you strength and happy memories. Are there any other names as I look around that people are remembering at this time of year, or remembering because it's not always about the calendar? So look around the room, feel free to name anyone you'd like to.
Adi Cox, school friend.
Let's turn to page 524 and say together the words of Kaddish.
תודה ולקדש שמי רבם, אלעמד יברח ורצי בימים חמחוזי, וחי יכולנו ביום יכולנו, וחיי כל בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. כדי שמי רבם וברך לעולם ולעולם עליה. יתברך וישבח ויתעלה בפניו יתנשא, יתחדל ותעלה ותעלה שמי קדושה וירדו. אלוהים כל ברכתה ושבתה. Yushpachata v'nechemata, V'nei shalom rabban Shemaya, Kachim aleinu al kol Yisrael, Yimru Amen. Oseh shalom yibromav, V'yaseh shalom, aleinu al kol Yisrael, V'al kol bnei Adam, Yimru Amen.
Please be seated. Do we do the announcements now, or do we do them?
Normally at the end, it doesn't matter, we can...
Do we do them at the end?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're going to conclude with Don Ola, which is a French Sephardi tune which I'd forgotten about, and I remembered again, and Joseph knows. And thank you for the music, you too, by the way. Thank you. It's really great. And we'll all learn it quite quickly. I think it's one of those tunes. So I don't know. Yeah, we've done it before.
Adon Olam Hashem Olam B'Terem Kol Yesir Yivram Le'et Nasav V'Hem Zokon Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Ve'acharei Tiflot HaKol Le'vam Adon Yimlot
There's a rather lovely blessing at the very back of the new draft pseudo. And it goes like this. Beruchot aten ba'ir, Beruchot aten basadeh, Beruchim atem bevoachem, Beruchim atem betzedechem. Blessed may you be in the city and in the field. Blessed may you be when you come in and when you go out. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Before we go downstairs, they're running a little bit behind schedule, but of course we're going to be tolerant about it, aren't we? Yeah. I'd just like to say massive thanks to Rabbi Nathan. It's been a year, isn't it? A year. I remember going to Nathan's ordination, and wow, you've certainly flown into the job. So thank you. And I have to say, when I knew my family were coming over from New York, who's taking the service? And I saw it was Nathan. And I thought, well, what was that for them?
Well, I felt the same about you and Shaman's.
Oh, sure. So thank you. And also, I'd also like to endorse Nathan's thanks to the wonderful musicians today. Arts and service. Thank you very much for that. And just for future service, Friday we haven't got a service upstairs here, but you may want to go downstairs, and there's actually a Sufra service. If anyone's interested, it's actually a food bag, let me know and I will give you the details. And next Shabbat we've got student Rabbi Anna Posner,
who you've met before when she came with her dog.
Oh, right, yeah.
She's a friend of mine. That's Lev you had last week.
Yes.
So bring the dog.
She'll bring the dog
She
along.
has a new dog. That dog didn't really work out. It had real behavioural problems.
You can hang on.
It hasn't never.
Joy, you can perhaps bring your wheels. Yeah, we can have a service for. Very nice. So, and if you want to sort of slowly meander downstairs, the kiddish will be almost ready.
Have a good time, everyone.
Thank you. Enjoy your break. Yeah, possibly. No, just because she was short, yeah. You're so spare fans for an emergency. Wishing on
Now you pointed it out, Idris. Now you pointed it out.
And they were we're not doing it in the service. Yeah, I thought that's right.
Fantastic, Joseph. Thank you so much.
There's a gift.
Did you actually like the love? Did you enjoy the service?
Inside some
That's right.
She's okay.
Wonderful, wonderful service.
how long does it take to play one of these?
But I think this is
Oh, God. Is this fair? So maybe it was
This is her hand, it's like a yard.
the way you are. The results
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Are there many Jews in Bulgaria?
Yes.
Very much
so.
I don't know if it's a story, but it's an amazing story.
Like from a rose bush on a they score. Can you see these lines here? They score lines, and the letters hang from the lines. So I like an English way to write on the stories. In Hebrew, the scribe hangs the letter from the and then the lines fade.
Not on my plan, but thank you very much. So,
yeah, it takes a year to write, and every
so
day
if I understood you right, because you live locally, but you've been going around the Orthodox schools in handling all the pieces.
and then begins.
And you're not allowed to rub out, is it?
Let's start again.
You start again. You get to Deuteronomy 8:3 and start again.
Well, you can actually you can use a non-metal implement to scrape away the
Oh right.
Because it's not so much
starting again. You replace the whole piece.
how can I explain it?
Yeah, so it makes a
So
mistake.
it's made of lots of sheets of pottery which are sewn. They're sewn with
I think
sinew.
probably
So the whole thing is organic
different
and no
path.
metal instrument.
I can say that like right Orthodox is here and the other side.
This is
the
like
reformed
parchment,
are
yes.
maybe there. I need to
Should we
what would
should
you
we
say
get
is the best way
get
to
it finished?
difficult.
Yeah, you don't.
I feel the basic of the
Just turn. Can you get onto both of those? It's better than one person doing it, but if you lean across, can you do that? Lean across the whole thing, lean across. Yeah, hold on to the...
30.
Yeah, let's make it a bit
Are you
closer.
married?
Now hold on to the hands.
No. I
We'll
can't
both
remember
have
that yet, but
And then
I've
just
been very busy to have a mortgage part of that,
Alright.
which is basically taking the loans from the houses, and it's consuming my time. Last night I was like working till 8, 9 o'clock,
You've got to
without making
be
it
gentle with the clock.
luckily.
You have to be
All right,
quiet.
they're ready downstairs. They're ready.
All right.
Let's
You
go.
go downstairs, I'll do the rest. I'll come back up. I'll come back up.
See you in a minute.
We'll come back up to dress her. We're coming.